Right, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try and repeat myself, because I've done one of these recordings earlier on, and I can't get it. I mean, it's on audio, so I can't get it up. So now I'm doing a video, really, and then I'm gonna put it. It's much easier for me to put up on YouTube. Maybe if I can do a small one and then upload it, put some images on it, and I can see how that goes in. But what I want to try and do, I want to try and put some music on as well. So, you'll have a bit of this in the background. Oh. And then we can all... and I haven't got my head under a blanket either. Is that important? Who knows? But anyway, right, so my name is Neale Howells. I'm an artist based in South Wales. I was popular once. Don't know where it all went wrong. And I suppose over the years we've worked with the Manic Street Preachers, supplied artwork for them. More recently, London Fashion Week. And I was about 4 years doing that. And in between all that, we've been showing work building up to showing in the John Martin Gallery, which is in London, down in Mayfair. Ooh! So some really nice people come in and buy artwork. And so I've been with John, well, a good few years now, I suppose. And where we started, I can remember, in fact, it was really weird how John found me. It was by a pure coincidence that there was a Welsh guy, is it Nigel, who put up a Welsh art site. And it was like, this is the early days of the internet. And so I just submitted some work, and he generously put it up with my name and that. It was quite basic, that's all it was. And John came across it, he got in touch. He said, I'd like that artwork. And after a while, I got a message saying that this guy, John Martin, has got in touch. And John had by the sounds of it, the gallery had only been going a couple of years as well. So it was all pretty new to us all. Anyway, we took that, he came down, met him, and we gave him a piece of work. It was about 4x4. What was it called? I don't know, I caught you shagging a wife or something strange like that. And he showed it at an arts fair somewhere in London, and he sold it, and he had good reviews from it. People was going, this is great, do you have any more? And I think that's how we built up then. I built up a little following. In 2012, we showed in about 7 different capital countries. I mean, that's got to be good. So I thought yay, here we go, this is more like it. We had a simultaneous show in London, and then they went straight to Milan after that. And then actually the one in London was spread over 2 sites, so it was all going on. It's not going on so much now, but I do still show with John, and we do have a steady, we steadily get a bit of work and people buy it, but I mean. I've always wanted, I mean, what pushes me really is, let's be the best. Let's get the best. Let's be the best. What used to annoy me is that why wasn't there a Welsh artist when people flick through art books? Somebody who had actually made a difference. And, there's plenty of Welsh artists now, but, none to the extent of changing the direction of what art is. So that was my little philosophy, and I always, so I took that. That's what I wanted to do. I've sort of mellowed over the years, I think. Instead of being the best, I would accept a top 3 position. So I'm still determined to do it. I mean, that's what really keeps you going, I suppose, isn't it? So it's been good. It's been interesting, but, I think when I think of it, we're probably quite selfish, really, as well. But I suppose it's a selfish job, really, isn't it? Being an artist, you don't really can run off with and share with, particularly because you are on your own. And I think I remember before I had an interview with the Slade Gallery, the Slade College, and I was just listening to Frank. Was it Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath? Then what's this next one? I got some really good stuff at the moment, isn't it? I always got music on in the studio, see. And this is the thing. This is why it stops me thinking. Thinking is really bad for your health, you know. I can't keep quiet. I got to have something in the background. But when I don't have it, I have a really good night's sleep. So I'm really my own fault. So what I was going to say then really is, so I had an interview in 1995 for the Slade. And, that was what my aim. I had an interview in 1990. Then I said, all right, I'll come back. Anyway, that 1 year turned into 5 years. And it was a case of, I stuck everything in the back of the van, in the car, took it up, showed them. Interview went tits up. And, but the thing is, I left that interview thinking, I knew I'd screwed it up, but it was a weight lifted off my shoulders, you know. And, so it was great actually, you know. Well, I did get in touch with him the next day to see if I had got him, but after that I started exhibiting in the Eisteddfod, and one thing leads to another. And I think with artists, that's how it has been with me. I've always been able to do one thing, somebody have seen that, and then it's led on to something else and led on to something else. So I've been fortunate, a bit like a leapfrog in a way, until. So I guess what I'm doing by here, I'm really talking about my early life, aren't I? I wanted to actually talk about this book I picked up. Okay. What I can do, I can just string it along. So in my early life, I chip and chop, and I'll come back to things as we go along over the weeks or whatever along. If I don't get bored of doing this. So was it about 98 or 95, 96? I applied for a travel grant. Second travel grant actually, and I got it. It was to go to New York. And when I was out in New York in about 98, 99, took pictures, made a little film, but I came across a guy called Basquiat. And although we all knew Basquiat, well, we didn't all know him. I wasn't really hugely aware of him, to tell you the truth. I mean, I did have a couple of pictures of him, but I think the strange thing is that people are more aware of Basquiat's work now than they ever have been, due to the internet, due to him being one of the most popular artists in the world, and his work, you know, having the biggest prices. But years and years ago, you couldn't actually get any catalogues on his work, any pictures. They were very rare to get a catalogue on his work. I don't think there were any. I hadn't seen any. So when I went to New York, I went into a show that I'd just finished by him. I didn't even know he was showing it there, right? So it was just a coincidence. And I had the catalogue on the desk, and I looked at it, and I thought, here we go. I could see how good this guy is. Let's buy a catalogue. So I bought a catalogue, but I never really properly looked through it. Can't do it. I'm sort of I think his images are so strong. So I never really looked through it. So that'll be one of my objectives today. I will try and look through it and see if I can come up with anything. But what I found while I was working in the shed, I graduated in 1990 from Bath College to 95. What I found is that in the latter part of the work, when I started doing these large doodles and stuff, and there was a little way into that, which is again another story, you know, subconscious doodling, Sweden, which hopefully I can come back rather than try and do it all in one go here. And anyway, so I always thought there was like the amount of pictures I had seen of him, the little images were turning up in the work that I was doing, and that was like a childlike car. And it was like it just turned up all the time, and I was scratching into the painting itself, and you know, I was taking pictures, taking to a different area for me. And what I found at times, the work that I had recently seen were ending up in the work I was doing. Now, there's nothing worse than an artist doing somebody else's work. So I was thinking, I want to not do my own. And so I had this idea that, right, I'm going to stop looking at other, I'm going to stop going up to London, I'm going to stop looking at other exhibits so I can concentrate on my own stuff. But that wasn't it might have been what was happening, because subconsciously you do pick things up as artists of other people's work and put them in. But I couldn't get away from them, and in a lot of the big works I was working on things like 8 by 12 foot works, so there was plenty of room. Some of the works would turn up still, and what can you do? Not use them, but I want to use them. I need to use them. It's what do you know what I mean? As an artist, they do say artist steals work, and I can understand that. If it's something you need to use, you've got to use it. You can't just not use something. So even if it is by somebody else, so my way around all that was to credit where the drawing came from, and it was quite simple for me, but it led me. So if it was a drawing that looked like something out of basket had done, then voila, I would write the guy's initials under that particular part of the picture, and I used that then on a lot of the pictures. If I felt like there was a definite correlation between an image and some other artist, I would just write the initials of that artist under that piece, that little part of the picture. It was my way of giving a nod, giving a bit of credit, and saying, yeah. And now let's carry on with what I was trying to do. And that was my way through that. It's quite good. It was good for me, because I'm after. It's weird when you say you're after the truth, because you're after the truth within yourself. You're after the truth on the work. You don't want the work to lie. It's not pretending to be anything it isn't. And so that was my way of doing it. When it comes to the work, I suppose I'm very truthful. What you see is what you get. I don't believe in representation or symbolism. Works very well in cinema, and I will enjoy it till the cows come home in the cinema. Don't know why it'll make a difference, but for me, painting is about what you see is what you get, and I don't need to make anything up to go along with it. Like, there's no intellectual crutch that goes along with the work that I do. It's not so much you either understand it or you don't. It took me a while to understand that, so I'm not expecting anybody to get it straight away. But I mean, there are certain laws within artwork and rules which you learn, and then you decide to rip them up and then go your own way. So how do you judge a good bit of work of art? Well, for me, it was perhaps how many times you come back to see it, or time. Time is usually a good one, you know. You come back to it after 10, 15 years, is it any good? And the more you see artwork like that, I guess, the more you're not so much worrying about it, what it is. It is what it is. Continue. And I think all you're doing really then is just really sort of finding yourself. I mean, you could argue, do artists make more exciting work when they're younger? Okay? Do they make more exciting work when they're younger? Or when they're older? So there's plenty of examples, say in the music industry, or maybe even in the YBAs, where they were really young, and the MNs and the rest of the crowd. So you got the rest of the crowd. But what about when you get older? So you've got the Rothkos then, and you know the Jackson Pollocks. I mean, if you look at maybe a Rothko of when he was very young, you would never put the two together. Well, we think of Rothko as what we think of his works now. But you go back to when he was younger, and it was nowhere near that. So, was he doing the better work when he was older or when he was younger? This is the thing. These are questions that need to be answered. Can we answer them on this? God knows. So I got all that going on. So when I'm making a piece of art, sometimes you are thinking like that. And let's go to the shed. I mean, I did really find, I suppose, that I did that. I mean, I would have loved to have gone to the Slade. So I always seemed like I jumped out really by knocking the London. But teaching-wise, I learned everything I needed in that 5 years. Come across it, thought it through, outthought it,